Hi creator, and welcome back to another video of The Mindful Creators. I am Fem, I'm the face behind The Mindful Creators. At The Mindful Creators we do a lot of things, but mostly community. We have a really fun and cozy community group, which is a membership group, and I make these videos, do a lot of other things. I dye yarn, but in these videos in my YouTube channel I have a bit more of a personal approach. I tell you in this podcast everything that I've been knitting on, sometimes a little bit crochet, but for now it's only knitting, yeah. And I'm excited. It's podcast number 20. I'm sitting in a little bit of a different background. You can see some of my hand-dyed yarn. So I sell hand-dyed yarn, as you know by now, or maybe not know if you're new here. I'll link it below so you can check it out. But I think it's a pretty cozy spot, and the lighting isn't too bad actually, which I'm surprised by because this is one of the darkest spots in the house. So let's get into it. First, I want to tell you a little bit about a new company I found out, and they've reached out to me. Let me just tell you, I almost always drink tea in these podcasts in the colder months, so I just started drinking tea again. It's getting chilly enough for a little warm cup of tea, and actually my sister-in-law, a friend of hers, started a company with tea, and I just wanted to support her, so let me just give her a little shout out. I'm drinking it, by the way. The company is called Theemutsje. It's a Dutch word. If I'm correct, they mostly sell in the Netherlands right now, but I think they are expanding pretty soon, so keep an eye out for them. She gifted me 2 teas to try out, and I have this is a spice basket, they call it, bio. It's in Dutch, but the website is already in English and I think German too. And the other one is winter tea, also how do you say it? Bio tea? Bio tea. Let me just keep it like that. And these are really nice. So these teas are all loose teas. And I am now drinking this. By the way, this looks like it is more. It is not. It is the same weight. It's just a very different kind of tea. So it looks like it's more. I am now drinking the winter tea. It is fall, but I thought it fits. And this is a mix of rooibos tea. I think you say it the same like that in other languages. With cinnamon, orange, and a lot of other things, and it's pretty nice. It's a nice cozy tea. I like rooibos tea. It's really nice. So if you want to support her, she's just starting out. I would love if you give her a little follow on Instagram. I'll put her link below, the website and her Instagram, and I don't know, just give her some support. I think it's just super fun. You know, I'm also still very small, and if someone wants to support, it's always really nice. So I want to support her with this. Check her out, give her some love, and let's get into the video. Oh yeah, little disclaimer, this was gifted. I'm not paid to say this, I just enjoy it, and that's just what I want to say about it. Let's get into the video. We're now getting into knitting. The first thing we always start with is finished objects. And if you watch my last podcast, you know I was working on my Lento sweater, which was 2 weeks ago. I think it was around here, probably here, and I said I might have it finished next time. Look what I finished. Oh, it is my Lento sweater. It is almost finished. I have to block it and weave in ends, and that's the only thing I have to do, and then it's completely finished. But look at it. I have a Lento sweater. I still have some markers in it. I will explain a little bit more why the marks in. Oh, on camera it looks like it's pulling a little bit, but in real life I don't really see it. Let me see the back. It's pretty good. So last time we were here. So yeah, this was almost below boob, I think it was, or just below boob. And I didn't have any sleeves yet, and I had to finish the body. So I worked on it so hard because last time, yeah, I already had to rip it out once. I had to rip out this, there's a whole story about it there. I think there's a little bit of a mistake in the pattern. It might be on purpose. It's something with the raglan. If you want to watch it, I'll link the video up here. But yeah, this is just a really nice and cozy sweater. So let me tell you a little bit about it. The yarn that I made this sweater in is from, I want to say Metzger, but it isn't. It is Soca Troca. It is a Spanish yarn dyer. I bought this in Barcelona. I'm gonna post a lot of videos here. I actually made a yarn haul from Barcelona, so another video up there. Sorry about that. I'm already getting warm. Very excited about everything I have to show you. But yeah, this yarn I got there. This is their kitten base, which is 100% superwash merino wool. It really looks like it's pulling. I don't notice this in real life, so that's good. Kitten, sorry. The color name is Pisara. And it is this really nice, I think I have a little bit laying here. It's actually a bit of a dark blue. And it is this really nice deep and dark color with some dark blue, dark grays in there. But I held this together with Cetasuri, Lana Grossa Cetasuri in dark gray. And I thought it would be a bit more bluish. When I was in the store, it looked like it was a little bit more bluish. But in real life, in good lighting, please focus. But in good lighting, it definitely is very, very gray. So looking back, I probably wouldn't have picked that yarn color again, like the Cetasuri color. But I'm really happy with the end result and I really like it. I'll pop up some videos of wearing it before and after blocking somewhere throughout what I'm saying right now. Because I have to block it. And I probably will show it again next time. Tell you a little bit more how blocking is going or how it went and stuff. But yeah, this is so nice. So this pattern is actually the Lento sweater. It is published originally in Lane magazine, if I'm correct. And it's also you can also buy it as a separate pattern right now. The fun thing about this pattern is for the first few sizes, you only need 2 skeins of hand-dyed yarn. And I think for the others it is 3 or maybe 4. Eventually if you go up the size range, which makes it, okay, it's still not cheap. Let me put that out, but it makes it a little bit more affordable if you want to make this with hand-dyed yarn. I think it's a really nice pattern for it. I used almost all of my hand-dyed. I think I used 170 grams, so that is quite close to pattern. But I didn't make a mistake, but my gauge turned out very differently. So this pattern is also a bit known for their open gauge and their quick to knit. It's just a quick to knit sweater for most people. However, my gauge is so off. I'll put in the screen what the gauge is supposed to be and what it is. I don't know on top of my head. I do know that I'm 8 stitches off in length. So it definitely took me a little longer to make this, but I love the gauge. I don't know if you will be able to see it really. The gauge is really nice. It is open enough, but not super open. It's not see-through at all. Yeah, it's just super nice. It does fit a bit more form-fitting, which I really like. I love the fit of this sweater. It decreases actually down the side. So let me tell you a little bit about it. I'm gonna see if I can show you this. So I really started to like how this sweater was fitting. I talked about this in the last podcast. I do prefer most clothes to be a little bit more form-fitting. I have a bit of a pear figure and I don't like it when things hit on my hips or like a little too wide. I start to look like a potato. I feel like sometimes, don't get me wrong, I do like my oversized sweaters. But with this one, I really started liking the look and I thought, okay, I want to keep that going throughout the body. So can I show this too? It's hard to see, I think, but I made some decreases. I don't think you'll be able to see. I made some decreases eventually along the body. So when I was around here, probably around where I was last time, I started making some decreases. I did 3 rows of decreases and I think I did about 4 or 5 rows in between them. It's really hard to see. It's dark yarn, but which I really like, by the way, because it's very unnoticeable. So maybe you can see it. Yeah, you can see it going in a little bit at where my face is now. Because I just really wanted to keep that look of it fitting a bit more form-fitting, and it is not blocked yet, of course. I know it's gonna grow. I really noticed with my hand knits, my last few hand knits, so my Anchor Summer shirt, that it grew a lot. I really liked how it fit before. I chose the right side, but it grew so much. I used bamboo, it was a bit of my mistake too, but it grew a ton, and I don't like it when things are super, like, it needs to have a little bit of shape, you know? That fits my style better, that fits my body better. So I also just kept in mind that this is still gonna grow, which is nice because there are a few things that I would like to grow, of which one is the arm length. You can already see I changed the sleeve, let me tell you also about that. So I think in the pattern originally the arm length is around here, maybe a little shorter even. I think it's supposed to be around here, Not my preferred style, so I was like, I'm gonna lengthen it, that's for sure. And you can see it in the video. I will show you a little bit now how it's fitting before blocking. You can see it hits around above bracelet length. And I did that on purpose. I didn't want these sleeves super long. I did that on purpose with the hope that it will stretch a little bit longer. I hope you will be seeing the after blocking right now, and that the sleeve hits a bit more at bracelet length. I think that's perfect. Another thing about the sleeve that I changed, as you can see here, is I tapered it down. So because it is supposed to be a little bit of a shorter sleeve, you need more width, of course, for your arm to fit. But since I didn't want it to be that length, and I didn't want it to be super long, so if you have like a long sleeve like this is not, these are not nice sleeves. It's a store-bought sweater, but I don't recommend it. Then it is nice to have them a little bit wider, but I don't like it when my sleeve hits like right here and it is wider. It doesn't flatter me too much, I think. So I choose to do decreases for the sleeve and make it a little bit more like a slightly balloonish sleeve. What I did is on the last row before I started to do the ribbing, I decreased every other stitch. So I knitted and then knit two together, knit two together, and I did that till the end of the round, and that gave me this really nice tapered kind of sleeve. It is a little tight. Again, with blocking, I hope that will be fine. And I really like the look of these sleeves. So I do recommend it. It's really easy to do. I did already go down a needle size on that row. I really like to do that nowadays. You just already pick the needle smaller a row before you start to do your ribbing. I think it looks pretty neat. It looks nice. I did that too on the body. I don't know if that is super noticeable. As I said, I still need to weave in my ends. The body ribbing is a little too tight. This is the max. I bound off in pattern, as I said in the pattern itself. So I bound off in 1x1 rib. I didn't want to do an Italian bind off or like a tubular or anything like that, because I do find I like to tuck my sweaters in, and this edge gets pretty ugly pretty quickly, and I'm like, I'm putting so much work in that for like an edge that you won't really notice. I do like to do it on the sleeve, so as you can see here, I did do a nice bind off. I don't know if you can see it that well. It looks a little wonky right now, but I did do it on the sleeves. I didn't do it on the body. I couldn't be bothered, to be honest. But it is a little tight, even though I tried to really make it loose enough. It doesn't look super tight, but it's a little hard to get over. I can get it over my shoulders and everything, but it's a little difficult. So I hope this will also stretch a bit with blocking. It doesn't have to stretch a ton, just a bit. I hope maybe a few centimeters. Like even 2 would already be really nice. But yeah, it is such a nice sweater. It is super comfy. It is really soft. It's definitely soft because of the yarn, but also really this settasuri. I do have to say, it doesn't itch, but if I put it on just like after I haven't had it on for a little bit, you know, it do tingles a tiny bit, mostly on my upper chest and my neck a tiny bit. But that is just gone in like a few minutes, and it's just getting used to wearing these kind of sweaters again, I think. I have another, like my Monday sweater that I made last year is made with Drops Kid Silk in chalk. I don't have it laying here, I think, no. I think that one itches a little bit more, but also barely. I really recommend that color. I hope it's still the same though. The color chalk in Kid Silk from Drops is not itching for me. Like barely itchy. It's really not that noticeable. This is, as I said, not sponsored. It's really nice. You have a slight hint of orange in this tea, which I quite like. It's subtle. I don't like it too much. It's subtle, good enough. Back to the sweater. Do I have anything else to say about it? I probably will show it next time again. Oh yeah, I did do something different with the neckline. So in the pattern it says to do a provisional cast on, and then because it makes it easier to it's a double folded collar to make the neckline to fold it together. I didn't do that. I just did a long tail cast on, mostly because I didn't want the neck to be super stretchy eventually. I've heard from a friend, most of my friends have made this, my offline knitting friends. I've talked about this before. Claudia is making, or just made one. In my head, that yarn is so beautiful. Jasmijn made one in my hand-dyed yarn and also made one in another yarn. And these are also so beautiful. She inspired me to modify it a little bit. And Heike made one which is also so beautiful, and she had made one. So yeah, she made one, Jasmijn made two, Claudia made one. What did I want to say with that? I don't even, oh yeah, they told me that your collar can stretch a little bit. So I did the long tail cast on. I recommend it, but also beware, it's a pain to fold a double. It took me too long. It was like, oh my goodness, I now get why you had to do the provisional cast on. But I'm happy with the little bit more reinforced neck. Anything else? No, I really like it. I think I talked about this in my last podcast at the end, a little bit about life stuff, but the chances are pretty big that I have to take a job on from January to be able to do probably like max 3 days a week. Because if you know my goals, I want to be able to live off the Mindful Creators. As in, live off sounds weird, but I wanted to do this as my full-time thing. I really love what I'm doing. I love the community aspect. I love making content for you here on YouTube. I really love dyeing yarn. It's such a big passion it's started to become. So again, check out my shop if you want to. I have some fun things coming. Talk a little bit more about that in the news part after this. But yeah, probably not enough. So chances are big I have to take a job and probably something in the office. And I think this will be a perfect, neat looking sweater also for office wear. I don't know where I will end up for kind of work thing, but I think this will be something that I will grab for quite a bit when it's still a little bit colder outside. So yeah, that is all about the Lento. Will I make this again? Let me just do a little bit about will I make this again? How enjoyable was it? Will I make this again? I might do this again, yes, because I think you can adjust a bit. I think you can do, as I said, I changed the sleeves, I changed the body. I think it will be nice for something else again. Maybe make the sleeves even wider to make it more balloony. So yeah, I probably would make this again if I find some yarn that I really want to use in this, like a 2 skein hand-dyed. Was it enjoyable to make? Definitely. It was definitely quick. I think I knit this in 3 weeks, even with taking out. So I was about here. I was halfway the raglan, had to rip that all out to the collar and start again, which is always a bit painful, but it worked out and it was fine to do. So yeah, definitely a fun pattern. It's nice. It's as I said, if you want to use hand-dyed yarn, it's pretty doable price-wise. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. Also, good to note, I did this on 5.5mm instead of 6 because I didn't want to have the gauge too large. And that's probably also why my gauge was really off. But my swatch was good, so keep something like that in mind. After finished objects, we always go into a little bit of new stuff. So let me get my notes here and see what I want to tell you, because I know a little bit, but I know myself, I can ramble a lot. Yeah, a few things I wanted to just touch upon. We are doing a really fun new make-along in the Mindful Creators Clubhouse. As I just said, this is my community group, my online membership group. It is a super cozy group. Like, I've also been doing interviews for my capstone at the moment, and I'm interviewing people from the Clubhouse, and it's about a sense of virtual community. It's all a little bit more later in live stuff. But the answers that I'm getting, people are so happy to be here and so caring for each other, and it just makes me almost emotional to realize what an amazing group we've made. And if you are looking for people that are, it's a pretty small group still. I think we are over 20 people at the moment. If you are looking for a group like that of really loving, really caring, super supportive, enthusiastic people, definitely join us. It is a membership, so it's month. You can do it month by month. You could do it for 3 months, as in a payment of 3 months. You can even try it out for a month and then say, okay, this is not for me. All good too. It's just super cozy, and we are doing a new make along. That is what I wanted to tell you. Actually, we are doing the gifted mall from October to November, end of November, for 2 months, and we are making a ton of gift knits or crochets project. So the last video was about that too. I made like all those patterns. I don't know if I already said that, or did I just go over that? I don't know. I might link it again, or I just link it below. It is a video with 16 free patterns, knit and crochet, to gift for your loved ones this holiday season. And in the Clubhouse, we are now working on that make along, and it's a lot of fun. So definitely, if you want to join us, you're still able to join. The only things you need to do to be able to get some of the prizes, because we have some prizes, is to work on a make-along and post about it in our make-along chat. I'll let you show you a little bit what it looks like, and join at least one of the make-along calls. I will plan in some more also for maybe this month or next month. It's just a lot of fun, so join us there if you want. It's super casual, super fun, and love to see you there. Something else that is going on is, I told you in the last podcast about my new collection, the butterfly collection. However, I'm already going to change something. So this collection was in my mind for already a little bit. I went to a butterfly safari, got some more inspiration. I already had a lot of inspiration, and I set some things out and was like, okay, this is gonna be it. But I am very much known to make things very difficult for myself. I'm definitely that kind of person that get myself stuck in something, make rules for myself, and then have to live onto it. And I'm like, I don't really want to do it that way, but I made those rules, I already put them out, and it makes my mind very difficult. So I started preparing the collection, and I don't really love, how do I say it? I like it a lot, but also I don't think it really fits butterflies. So I was actually thinking about putting it on hold, but we're just going to change it around, because all the colors that I now made are very fall colors, and I'm just gonna put out a fall colors collection or autumn colors collection. I'm not sure how I'm gonna call it. So very soon I'll be posting the colors of reveals, and they are just going to be the 4 colors that I now created. Might put in a 5th one, I'm not sure yet, but I really want to put out something new for you all, and I think it is very fitting for this fall autumn season. So yeah, it's gonna be a small collection, a pre-order. Go to my Instagram if you want to see more of it. I'll show there, I will link my Instagram below, because that is the place where I post these things, and I will keep you up to date and everything, and when it's going live and stuff. I might not even be able to make a video before that, so always follow me there if you want to hear a little bit more about it. So let me go into this a little bit. As I said, I can make things very difficult for myself. I can set up rules for myself and just get so stuck in it. And I had a call with Lauren from the Yarn Edit Co. She's actually our guest speaker this month in the Clubhouse. And I had a call with Inga from Fuzzy Peach Fibers. And after those calls, I realized I can do it how I want it. And this counts for a lot of people in your life. I think I don't know how you are with this, let me know below, but for me, I can make things so difficult for myself. So unnecessary, yeah, so unnecessary difficult for myself. And last night I was like, looking at the collection, I made one more color that I didn't even necessarily, I was like, this is gonna be for the collection. And I realized these colors together are very much a fall collection. So I'm just gonna put it out like that. It's gonna be just a fall collection, a small collection. I'm excited about it now, and it also really helps me a lot. And I think you will like it. If you are like the people in the Clubhouse, I always show them my colors and what I'm working on, because I just need to share this with people. I also share it with my offline friends and everyone close to me, of course, but I just really like sharing it with them. So they always have the first look, and they were really excited about the colors too. It was really fun. It was a color that I wasn't that sure about, and I showed it in there with the swatch, and they were like, oh, all of them. And I had the reaction a few times now, so I hope you will love it too. It will go up in a little bit, and I'm not sure when yet. I need to make content first, and then we'll see when it goes up. And I think this is just a good lesson for you too. If you struggle with making things very difficult for yourself, just know that there are your rules. You can change them anytime. And in this case too, I think if I would have gone with the other collection part, I wouldn't have stand 100% behind it. I would have liked it, but it wouldn't have been like my full passion into it. I don't know, something along that way. And it's just important to stand behind your product. If you are like a small business owner, maybe you will probably recognize something like this. So just know there are your rules. You can change them anytime you want. And it's okay. It's okay to pivot, to do something a little different. And I'm excited about this now too. So keep that in mind too. Make it fun for yourself, because if you get yourself stuck into something and make all those rules and feel like, okay, I cannot change anything about it, things will also not be that fun anymore. So this is also just a story to tell myself and remember for the future, but also for you. There are your rules. You can change them anytime you want. That was my little ramble. I hope you get something out of that. It's just a good lesson in life to remember. Let's go into some whips. I am going to show you only a few of them, because if you know me, if you've watched my podcast more, you know I have a ton of whips always. But I do see that I am more focusing on only a few recently. So I have a ton of them, but I try to have some active whips and have some non-active whips at most times. So for example, I'm sitting here and looking at my yarn corner too. I have some other things laying there that I haven't worked on in the last 2 weeks. So I will only be showing what I've worked on in the last 2 weeks. And I think I have 3 things. Yeah, 3 things. So let's dive into the one thing that I'm super excited about. It's a new sweater that I'm working on. In some of my podcasts, I will talk with you about what I want to cast on in the future, or like in the next coming weeks. And there was one thing that very much was on my planning in last podcast episode, what I talked about. And that was because I was with my offline knitting friends, and Jasmijn had made a new sweater. I tried it on and I fell in love. And it was the Lyon sweater by Petite Knit. I will show her version because I like her version a lot. I like how it fits and the colors. I don't know about you, but I sometimes have with Petite Knit patterns, when I see it in pictures of her, I think it might be because our body types are very different, that when I see it, I'm not like intrigued by it. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a good looking sweater, but it's not for me. When I saw it at Jasmijn, I think we are a little bit more similar body types. I saw it and I tried her version on and I really liked it. So I talked with you about my yarn color choices last time, and I was gonna buy it, and I said, okay, probably next time you'll see what I'm working on now. I also said I wouldn't cast it on until I finished something, but that really didn't really happen. So, but I'm super excited about that. I think that's important to work on what you're excited about. Again, you can make rules for yourself. If you get stuck on it, it isn't fun anymore sometimes. So in my case, I just like to work on what makes me excited, and this is something I'm really excited about. I'm gonna show you my yarn colors. I am working on the Lyon sweater, as I said, with Drops Daisy. It's a new yarn by Drops, and I am super excited about this. I have just my little skeins that are attached to my project here. This is Drops Daisy, as I said. It is a new yarn. It is a 100% non-superwash wool. Now it's focusing. It looks not good like this, of course, in these really ugly cakes. But this yarn, oh my goodness, I am obsessed. Oh, let's just focus again. There we are. This yarn, I am absolutely obsessed. This is, as I said, their new yarn, and it is so soft. As you can see here, it is super nice and bouncy, and oh my goodness, I have been working, I'm actually working on the sweater of my boyfriend with Peer Gynt at the moment, which is also a 100% non-superwash wool. And I kind of expected this yarn, I'm also almost losing my stitch, I don't have any cable stoppers on here and no needles. I expected this yarn also to be a bit more toothy and just a little bit more scratchy, you know. But it isn't at all. This is the softest non-superwash I have felt until now. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I just don't know what to say about it. I'm super excited about it. It's super nice. It is amazing to knit with. So I will show you what I have, because I've been working on this. I definitely have been. This is how far I have gotten. I think I need to do one more stripe, and then I'm probably already at the splitting for the sleeves. So yeah, it's quite a bit. The reason I gave myself that I was able to work on this is because I was out of yarn for my Lento and I had to get a little bit more sturdy. So I was like, I can cast this on now. And I'm really happy I did, because I love it. I think I haven't worked on it for the last, I think somewhere mid last week. So this is about, I think this is 3 or 4 days of work. And not full days, it was a little bit a day. So I really love it. This is a striped sweater, and I went for the 2 colors, these 2. This is natural and caramel, and the caramel is a really nice and warm brownie or a color with a little bit of an orangey undertone, I think, but not making it too warm. It's also not too, it's a good in between. I realized that those colors suit me quite well. When I tried on the sweater of my friend, I was like, yeah, I need something like that. They didn't have a rust color, she had more like a rust color. but I did saw this one and I chose to do this. I also was doubting to do the dark green, but I chose this. I was like, let's get out of my comfort zone a little bit. Let's just try something new. And I did. This sweater is so fun to knit. I will show you the construction a little bit. This sweater is so different from what I've knit until now. I haven't knitted a ton of sweaters. I have now 3 finished sweaters. One almost finished, working on another one. So I have about 5-6 sweaters worth of experience of construction. And this is very different, which I really enjoy. I hope I'll be able to show you this a little bit. Yeah, so you start on the back. I'm not going to explain everything, of course, but I would just want to show you a little bit about how different this is. So this is a construction that makes you work in very small pieces in the beginning, which is a lot of fun, I think. I really like that. I think they call it a potato chippy kind of project. If I'm incorrect, please tell me. It's just a lot of fun. So yeah, you work on the back and then you pick up stitches for the shoulders, and just you work it in all different kind of pieces. And these arms are also so different than I've ever done. So as you can see here, this is not a raglan, it's just with increases on one side, and it's just a lot of fun. And now I'm going into a little bit of a raglan. I think, yeah, from about here. It's hard to show, it has a hard time to pick up the colors here. Yeah, from around here, above the first stripe, just say it like that. You do start to do a little bit of a raglan to create some more increase, to do some more increases for the body also. And as I said, I think I need to do one more stripe. It does look really short still though. Yeah, I think it was the white stripe and then one more caramel stripe, and somewhere in the next white stripe, I think it will be good. I think that is correct, because that is about this more. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. And then I can already split for sleeves, so it's really fun. The fabric that the yarn creates is also really nice. This is 4mm. I have perfect gauge. It's nice and stretchy. It is. I don't think it's gonna be see-through. It is really soft. Again, I just love this yarn. I'm really excited by it. I'm really impressed by it too. I think they marketed this as their first 100% superwash merino wool, and I think they did an amazing job. I think they really listened to what people like, what they don't like. As I said, it knits super nicely. I had perfect gauge with 4mm. I do have to say my friend Claudia is making the same one. We are almost always making the same thing. Somehow, I don't know how we do it, but almost always she's making it with a dark navy stripe. And she has a bit more struggle. She's struggling a little bit more with the gauge, but she realized she is knitting quite loosely lately. I am most of the times quite on gauge, which is nice. So yeah, perfect gauge. I swatched, I blocked my gauge swatch. Let me just get that one in a second. It didn't stretch a lot. It stretched, I think I needed one more stitch in my gauge in width-wise, which happened with blocking, so it was perfect. I'm just really excited about this. This again is, I think, such a staple piece that I will wear a lot. I've really been thinking about making sure that I make pieces that I really enjoy wearing too. Like, I am definitely a progress knitter, but also how do you say, project knitter? No? You know, you're the kind of knitter that likes to have a project that they find a lot of fun, and the knitter that just likes to finish objects a lot. I am both, definitely, but I definitely need to have something that I really enjoy making. And I think I'm also making sure that the eventual project object, yeah, is something that I will really enjoy, and I'm pretty sure this is something that I will really enjoy. So yeah, I just want to make pieces that will last me a long time, not only yarn wise but also very much project wise, that I will love what I'm making, you know. So sometimes I had that with my summer secret crop. I used some yarn that I got somewhere. Long story, I got some yarn somewhere. It was part of like the experience event that we were doing, and I decided to make like a top with it. Maybe I can use a whole skein for this project, which I was able to do. but I didn't really wear it this summer. So mostly because the yarn choice, I really need to pick out a project first and then yarn, and then I'm pretty sure that I will love it. But as I said, let me show you my gauge swatch. I just grabbed it off the wall. It is not 10 centimeter in length. I don't know, how do you say it? Lengthwise, you have widthwise, lengthwise, like row gauge. My goodness, it is getting chaotic already. The row gauge is quite important, but not too important. I think you can play around with it a little bit. I also have to cover my eyes because otherwise it still focuses on my face. But look at how beautiful this gauge is. Also my nails, I was getting my nails off, but it didn't really work. Don't focus too much on it. But this gauge is just beautiful. It has some nice stretch, mostly widthwise. I'm just really excited about this. And this is just a really nice yarn. I'm really curious to see how it will hold up, because I think it might peel a little bit, but yeah, I have a yarn shaver, as I call it, like a little thing that you can shave your knits with and stuff. And I will just shave over it and then it probably will be fine. But yeah, I really am excited about this. It will be my project that I will be working on again, but I also will be putting a lot of time in my boyfriend's sweater, which I will show you now. For the people that have been following me for a little while longer, you know that almost from the beginning that I started knitting, I wanted to make something for my boyfriend, but I really needed to find something that he really loved. So we have been searching together. I really wanted to make him something, but he is not the biggest fan of a lot of the knitwear patterns that are out there, and to be honest, me neither for the men patterns. I think there's a lot to win there still, and I really am happy that there are some knitwear designers that are primarily making knitwear for men. If you look on Ravelry and you search for men, like in the gender box, then you mostly get patterns that could be any unisex, but you know, their body composition is so different from ours, definitely shoulder width and chest width. So I think it can be a little bit difficult to use a pattern that was written specifically with a female body in mind to make it for a male body. But the funny thing is, I showed him this pattern that I'm making the zipper sweater men. I showed him this pattern earlier, and it was the normal zipper sweater. I'm making the light version. The normal version he didn't really like, and I was going through this pattern because he told me he would love another half zip. He has a half zip sweater. He had a half zip sweater. It's mine now, but he had one. It is very old. It is my relax at home sweater at the moment. And he really enjoyed that, so I was like, I know this pattern, but you said you didn't really love it. And I was going through the project pages, talking too fast. I was going through the project pages from other people, and I found a version with this specific yarn used, which is Peer Gynt in, I think it is light gray. And so this is where we are at. I didn't do a lot since the last time that I showed you, but I did want to show it because it is something I will be working on a bit more. It is so freaking slow. It is insanely slow, but it is a really beautiful pattern. I think I have a tiny cable on here. It's definitely not the best cable to have on, but I am almost at splitting for sleeves. I need one more round. I thought I was there like yesterday evening. I was working on this. I needed 4 more rounds, I knew, before I was able to split for sleeves. I think this literally is the first time I picked it up since the last podcast. I did those 4 rounds, counted my stitches, and I realized I needed another 2 rounds. And now I only need 1 more. I wasn't able to finish it last night. It's a little tough on my wrists, to be honest. This is, as I said, Peer Gynt. I don't have a ball anymore. It's like I have a little bit left before I need to put another ball on there. And this is definitely a more rustic, toothy, scratchy kind of yarn. It is not super scratchy, but it is definitely more natural. It knits nicely, but as I said, since it is a bit more toothy, so the yarns can bite into each other a little bit more. So that also makes sure that your knitwear won't stretch that much. It is a little bit more tougher on my wrist. I realize this is knitted on 4mm needles. With a DK, it's a DK weight. It's nice, but I'm really happy when I'm in the round because it's a zipper, so there needs to be like an opening for the zipper, so I'm still working back and forth. I have 345, I think it was, stitches on the needles now. And it's just a lot. It is a lot. Men's sweaters have a lot of stitches. So yeah, it's beautiful though. I think he will love it. He has been talking about it so much. He is really excited about this. I started this in the summer and I worked on it a little bit here and there. I'm gonna focus a bit more on it now because I just want him to be able to wear it this winter. So I hope to have it finished somewhere around maybe Christmas or a little, yeah, I hope somewhere around end of December. So I have some time. It's not a Christmas gift. He bought the yarn actually, which I was really super kind. It was really nice because I really wanted to make it in this yarn. But it is quite, it's not super expensive, but it is definitely expensive. But I just want him to have something that he's able to wear for the next 10 years or 20 or 30 years, if that's even possible, with some good care. And he has already told me he would love a hat in the same color. So I probably will need to get a little bit more yarn because I think I'm perfectly out there with yarn, but I don't know how much I will have left. And the fun thing is I'm going to Copenhagen next weekend, so I probably will pick up like 2 skeins. It depends on how much I need, but I think 2 skeins of Peregrines in this color for a hat for this winter. So that will be on my list too of things to knit. Oh yeah, fun thing to know. So as I said, I have a ton of stitches on the needles right now on the cable, and I clocked myself. I timed myself on how long I'm taking, just not like speed knitting, just knitting in my normal tempo. And my knit rows take 10.5 minutes and my purl rows now take 13.5 minutes. So I did 4 rows. No, I did 5 rows yesterday. You can already see how much time that took me. It's just a lot of knitting. I'm so happy if I can be in a round and split for sleeves, which is pretty soon already, so that is nice. The last project that I have for you here is my scrappy blanket. It's a bit more of a lifelong project, and I'm just adding something here and there, and I've added a few strips to it. This project is not supposed to be like perfectly planned out, pretty. That is not my goal. It is just my goal to use up scraps and mostly hand-dyed yarn. And I don't have a ton of hand-dyed yarn, but I am a yarn dyer now, so I do actually have a ton of hand-dyed yarn. And when I'm testing, for example, colorways, so this is of my first collection, this is soft grass, but like I think the first version of it. And for example, here we have blue hydrangea. This is caned up differently, so it looks a little different than in pictures. And I have here, for example, field of flowers. I have a lot of them here. And sometimes I have test canes, so this was a test cane, just a tiny bit of DK. I want to use them. I think it's a shame to have them laying somewhere. It will never go into a project because they're only tiny amounts. So what I did with my first collection, the cottage collection, I actually put all the colors in the northeasterly blanket for swatches. And also I was like, I have more than enough yarn left. I cannot make a project with it, or not something that I didn't come up with something without having to get extra out of my yarn cabinet. So that is what I did. And then I started adding other colors. So it is a bit of a memory blanket also. Let me just go through them quickly. This is the yarn of my Tulsa tee from Admetska. This is the yarn of my Monday sweater, also from Admetska. It's both. I bought this both at the Handwerkbeurs this beginning of the year. This was a test skein. This was a test. And then this is some yarn from Betka 2 yarns, which I also bought at the Handwerkbeurs in the beginning of the year here in the Netherlands. And I have here another test skein. I know this looks horrendous together. I'm aware. I'm also a little bit like, oh, this is pretty clashy. But as I said, this is gonna be a memory kind of blanket. This will be a very long project for me. I am not in a hurry to finish this. I don't even have yarn to finish this probably. And I do have some yarn over. Probably from every color I'm able to put it in once or twice more, which I will do eventually. But it's just something, I think it's for me a nice way mentally to know that I'll be using all that yarn. And it's also really fun to have this project eventually. So for example, I do have some left of my Lento sweater that I just showed you. It's kind of like a black gray kind of yarn, as I said. It doesn't fit, but I don't care, I'll put it in. Like this part is pretty. Maybe this part is pretty. This part is a little intense. But yeah, memories. Life is also intense. What is with the metaphors today? I don't know what I want to say. I just want to use up all those yarns, and it's a really fun pattern, by the way. So I also want to show that to you. What I really like about this is that you work in tiny sections. So I think for a lot of people, you might recognize this too. The idea of having a whole blanket, like maybe a queen size, king size blanket, to have to work a row back and forth. I'm not happy with that idea. I'm not gonna do that. So what I really like about this blanket is you work in these sections. And the first one is fun because you have the tails actually, then you start attaching. It's not attaching actually, you just start knitting in another color and you just do that through and through. I think I'm making mine about 10 or 11 ridges. It is garter stitch, garter ridges long, as you can see. So they are actually quite the same. It's not focusing. Yeah, no, it is quite the same length. I'm not sure if that will stay like that throughout the whole blanket. I do need to have enough yarn of every color, of course. But as I said, this will be a very long project, like a few years project, and I'm totally fine with that. But I added these last 3 lately, so I think in the last week or so. Yeah, so I might already start pulling up another color of this one, maybe limestone. I might put limestone in there just after this to neutralize it a little bit, and then maybe I might even use my Monday color again and then my Lento color again. I don't know, I might just do it like that. Let me know, do you have a project like this, like a scrappy project? I know a lot of people are working on the Sweet Shop blanket right now by Laura Penrose, which I think is a really fun one too to use up. I think you're going to use up a little bit more of your scraps in there. I think I weighed, I think I might use about 4 grams only, 5 maybe, per yeah, what is it? It's not a square, per chevron thingy. So that's not that much. But yeah, it's alright. I am making the DK version. I am not using only DK yarn, which you can see here. It's a bit bulky. Most yarn that is in here is actually fingering hold double. I think I have 3 like really DK yarns in there. There's my bouncy DK base. This is my bouncy DK, this is my bouncy DK, and this is my bouncy DK. This is, oh, do I know this on top of my head? This is, I think, flowy fingering. This is sock, soulful sock. This is also soulful sock. This is a merino, flowy fingering, merino. Those are not the merino ones that I just tell. So yeah, I can use up quite some different bases in here, and it is nice. It's nice and squishy. I think this will be an amazing blanket to have in a few years time. It is not necessarily a pretty blanket, but that's alright. It's a memory blanket, and I think that is the most important part about it, that it has memories of my knitting life in here. And yeah, I'm just excited about this. I think it's fun to have something like this, and I definitely recommend this pattern. I think it's a lot of fun too. It is engaging enough. It is simple. It's like simple but engaging. So you can do this on top of your head. You have to memorize a little bit what you're doing, but it's really easy, but it is not boring, which is important for me since I am someone that likes some variation in their work. That's why I have like 10 whips. So yeah, that's what I just want to say. Let's go into some other parts of this podcast. Are there things that I want to cast on soon? I don't have a lot on my list at the moment. Yeah, I do really want to make the pipe and hot sweater by Lily Kate Makes. I've said this before. I'm not working on it. I'm not going to cast it on right now. Mostly because the yarn that I want to make is not the cheapest project. But I will definitely make it eventually. Don't know when. I bought the pattern already. I have it laying there, like online, or how do you say it, in my file on my laptop. I think it's beautiful. It's definitely still on my list, but not super soon. Other things. I don't really have patterns specifically in mind, but I do want to make some things with my own yarn, mostly to use as samples. So I do already have a new collection in mind that I'm very excited about. It's like, it might be too niche, but it's really exciting, and it's so you might get a hint here in this video. I'm not gonna hint to it, but it's something about something that I'm mentioning in this video. I'm not gonna say when. I'm not even sure if I eventually will do it, but if I don't, I might say it. Just see if you can figure it out. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious if you know me well enough. But yeah, for example, I'm looking, like next to there is the autumn colors collection, fall colors collection. I'm probably not gonna make something with that right now because as I said, it's gonna be a small collection. I'm just gonna put it out there and see if enough people will like it. Just say it like that. But for the new one, if I do the one that I have in mind, I definitely want to make sure to already start working on some samples. I said it before too, I would love to do some markets somewhere in the new year probably. I am working on a sock that I have laying here. I'm not actively working on this sock. This is the Lotte socks by, it's from 52 Weeks of Socks. I don't know the name of the designer on top of my head. Know that in the description box I always have my Ravelry page with like all my projects, and you can go through there and see all the designers, yarn, needle size, some comments on it on there. But this is a really beautiful one. I made it in my Stracciatella sock set. I don't know if I pronounce it now, Lizzie. Alice, if you're watching. I got a compliment that I pronounced my Italian right. I am learning Italian, by the way. I think I'm on day 66 now. And it's going pretty well. I'm really excited about this. But that's a whole other story. But I'm working on that sock in my own handed yarn. I made a hat in my own handed yarn. I think I showed it in last video. Definitely gonna come with me to Copenhagen next week. So excited. And I probably want to make another hat too. Maybe another... I'm working on something a bit more for the holiday season yarn wise, and I probably want to make a sock for that too. It's gonna be really exciting. One of the reasons also why I wanted to put the butterfly collection a bit on the back burner, because I want to focus a little bit on the holiday season that is coming. I have some really fun, exciting things for you in mind. So yeah, I probably will make a little bit of a sample project for that too. I don't have any sweaters or big projects in mind for my own yarn. Mostly maybe a hat, a sock. I'm working on a sock just to showcase what a sock set looks like. I have a little fly here, and we will see if I eventually do like a sweater. Maybe I'll do another Lento for the new collection because it's pretty quick to knit. I might even do that. I know my friends have also offered to help with test knitting or like sample knitting. I find it sometimes difficult to ask for help, so maybe I eventually ask them too, but I know it's a lot of work and I don't want to burden someone with that, so we'll see what I do with that. But I don't have anything that I'm gonna cast on right now. I just want to go into the Lyon sweater again, and I'm super excited about that, and just a zipper sweater for my boyfriend. So yeah, we'll see. Let's go into watching, listening and reading. Mostly watching and reading most of the times. This is always where I end the podcast with, and a little bit of live stuff, but I think I threw quite a bit of live stuff already in this video. As I said, this is just a more personal approach on my content and just something I like to make too. Watching. I am at the moment obsessed with Only Murders in the Building. I think it is such a good show. My boyfriend and I started watching it on Disney Plus and we really love it. We have just finished last night. We finished season 2. I think the night before we watched 6 episodes. It is just so good. I really love it. The colors, it's just, I don't know, it's just the story, the characters, the details in the set, it's all so good. And the actors are really fun too, so I'm really excited. I don't want to start season 3 immediately because this one just came out, and knowing us, we will finish it in 3 days. And then we have to wait another year probably for the next season, so I said to my boyfriend yesterday after we finished the season, I said, we're not gonna watch the next one. And he was like, no, we need to watch the next one. And I was like, no, we're not gonna watch it because we have to wait a little bit. So that's that. I really recommend this show. I think it's really good. I think it even gets an 8.1 on IMDb. My boyfriend is the IMDb nerd here in the house. He always loves to check what the movies or series have for rating. I am more spontaneous. I'm like, let's just see what we think of it. But I think it is a nice sign that it got an 8.1. It is really good, as I said. We are also still watching The Good Place. It's something, again, too, that I really like. I've watched the show already from beginning to end. And my boyfriend and I, like, when I watch something that I really enjoy, I want to encourage others to watch it. So I watched this many years ago. About 4 or 5 years ago, probably, before I knew him. And we are now watching it together. I think we also are there at the last season. Pretty sure we had the last season. And that is, again, such a good show. It's funny because the special effects are so bad and they do it on purpose, I'm pretty sure. But the writing and the story is so good. It's really funny. It's more like a sitcom kind of. It isn't really, but it kind of feels like something like that. But it is so good. So definitely watch it. You can see when I get excited, I start talking faster and faster and faster. Let's slow down a little bit. We also watched Liebeskind, which is a show on Netflix, a German show about, let me see if I can summarize this quickly. It is about a family who is held in captivity. Only the kids are born into that and they don't know that is their normal. There's a lot more going on. The woman, the mother, if you watched, you know, the mother, she escapes. And then the whole story starts rolling more. It is interesting because a lot of the time when you watch those kind of thriller, kind of suspense kind of shows, when someone is taken captive off, you see the part of their captivity in there. But this show goes into the end and then flashbacks. It's really interesting. I do have to say, it's a mini series, by the way, so you can binge this in a weekend easily. I do have to say, without saying too much, I try to. The big plot twist could have be done a little bit better. That's just my opinion. I think it's kind of finished when we were finished with it. I was like, I feel like we're not finished somehow. Like it should have taken a little bit longer, that part. But still, either way, it's really good. I think some Scandinavian, German, like those kind of shows can be really good. Definitely the thrillers. If one of my favorite shows of all time is Dark, which is also a German show, and it is so good. It is a little bit sci-fi, time travel, but not like, it does take place in like the real world. It doesn't feel like it is like a dystopian kind of world. It's so good. The story is so good. The plot twists are so good. It is heavy, because it's literally dark. So it's not something that we binged a lot. I watched it from beginning to end, and we watched it with my boyfriend from beginning to end. So I think that says a lot about how much I like a show if I want to watch it twice. But yeah, a lot of recommendations again. Reading, let's go into reading. I have my notes down here, of course. We have a new book in the book club. So in the Clubhouse, as I said, the membership community group, we have a book club now. And I am not participating in this book club. I did in the last book that we read, but now they are reading A Stash of One's Own. Pop it up there. And it just started. So if you want to join the book club, the day that I'm filming, I'm also bringing out the video. So this is literally what I'm saying is literally today too. I think they are going to recap maybe chapter 1 and maybe 2 this week. So you definitely can jump in because they are just in the beginning. And I think this book is a separate story, so it doesn't really matter when you jump in. Just so you know. I finished listening to Wrong Place, Wrong Time. And this was really good. I don't remember how I rated it. I will link my Goodreads below because I do keep up with all my books in there. I just like a little list. I just really enjoy that. And I do give a review to all my books, but mostly just for myself and just really short reviews. I am the kind of person that is like, I read this, I liked it, next. That's just a bit my style with books. Wrong Place, Wrong Time. Yeah, 4 stars. Maybe 4.5, I would say. But I listened to it. It's about the mother and her son commits a crime. And she's also a bit like, oh my god, how did this happen? Because her son is like the good guy and everything like that. And the day after the crime took place, she got back in time. One day. And she keeps going back in time. A little bit more, I'm not gonna say more, just she keeps going back in time and she has to resolve or like find what happened and why did the murder take place. It's really good. There were definitely some plot twists and I was like, oh my god, that was definitely the case. I get goosebumps now thinking about it. Definitely recommend it. It was good. A little bit of a slow burn, but definitely very good. Then I am now reading The Inheritance Games Part 2. I said this before last time. I haven't been reading a lot of my e-read at the moment. Maybe I've read 2-3 nights since last podcast. So not a lot of reading at night. at the moment. I'm listening also to The Last Housewife. What do I want to say about this? The Last Housewife. I'm almost finished. I have an hour left of maybe how long was it? I put this book in faster because I put this book on 125. It is actually 12 hours long, but in my speed it is 9, maybe 10 hours long. Yeah, and I have an hour left. Read your trigger warnings before you start this book. I didn't know about the trigger warnings. I'm good though. I can handle it, but in the reviews it does say that the book comes with the trigger warnings, but the audiobook doesn't. And I just like to go into books without knowing too much. Like, is it a thriller? Does it get a good rating on Goodreads? I will listen to it or read it. But yeah, this one is definitely intense and dark. I'm not good at explaining stories, but it is about a cult. It's about a bit about government misuse of it, kind of. It's dark. Definitely read your trigger warnings. Just say like that. It is good though. I'm at the end now. It did keep me listening. I was dying yarn yesterday. I think I listened to it for 5 hours straight. So I think that says enough. And I'm almost at the end, and there are some, definitely, again, those plot twists that I was like, what? I literally was doing my makeup before this video and I was listening to it. I was like, what happened here? So that is definitely the case. It's just intense. Just keep it like that. It's a very good book. It is very nicely written. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So there is a woman, she's now living somewhere on the other side of the country of the US. It takes place in the US. And she's listening to a true crime podcast and hears a story about her previous high school friend, or college best friend. The podcast is told by someone who she knows from, it was her best friend when she was younger, more high school time. And she's quite shocked. Also because there's a suicide, but the murder kind of looks like something that already happened to another friend of they were a friend group. So she goes back to investigate, and she goes to help the podcast maker, which was her friend. That is really interesting. The big book is a mix of kind of her undercover work and also like the podcast transcripts. It's nicely done. It's definitely good. But as some reviews also say, it's definitely a good book, but it is really intense, and I might need to read some romance books after this. So some other reviews said this too. Just keep that in mind. Read your trigger warnings. It's a good book though. It's a good book, I have to say. But yeah, we are nearing the end of the podcast. I said I would tell a little bit more about the research that I'm doing. So I'm doing my capstone. I was supposed to graduate in June. I'm definitely a late studier, by the way. I'm 26, I'm almost done now. I did some other things, other studies. I had a gap year, did another study, quit that study, did a 1.5 year gap year, and then I finally, when I was 22, I think I started this. I study creative business, international media and entertainment management, it's also called, and it's everything with media. A few examples: you could work, for example, in television or film, you could work in advertising, you could work in marketing, but you could also you could work in marketing in just a company, or you work in marketing in like a whole marketing firm where they make, for example, advertisements for other like big companies. If I would go into that job, I probably would go more into advertising. I think that's pretty interesting. I like the way of storytelling mixed with an approach of, it doesn't sound so nice how to sell something, but it's more like how to influence people, and then I would want to do it in a nice way, of course. So that's just what I did do for my study. I'm now doing my capstone in my own company, so the Mindful Creators, and I'm doing my research, because there's a part research in here, into the sense of virtual community theory, which is derived from the sense of community theory made somewhere in the 80s, 90s, I think. And this one is the virtual community, so it fits more on online communities. So I think that says a bit about how serious I take the community part of the Mindful Creators Clubhouse, because I'm now interviewing people from the Clubhouse to see how we can make it better, how the community theory applies already to us, and it has been really nice and really interesting. So yeah, that's just a little bit about what I'm doing behind the scenes, which I'm putting a lot of time in at the moment. I think I didn't say this in the last video, but I made the decision that I just really need to put in a lot of time into school right now to finish it. My deadline is December 12th, which I'm gonna make, and then my oral exam is the end of January. And then I have a Bachelor of Arts after that, hopefully. So yeah, I just putting a lot of time in there now. I had to make that decision, a bit of a mental shift, let's say it like that, that I don't really have a choice, I just have to do it now. So I'm doing well, it's going well, and also the decision to probably have to take a job on does give a little bit of ease of mind, knowing that I will be able to pay my bills, because that is the most important reason that I will be doing that then. And I will be looking for something in my field, so probably marketing, maybe advertisement, but those jobs are most of the time full-time. I want to do something for 24 hours maximum, so I have 2 more days and then some, maybe a night or 2, and a little bit in the weekend for the Mindful Creator. So it's definitely a switch in direction. I still secretly hope somewhere that something blows up and I'm able to do it, but I think it's good to have a little bit of security in there, and then knowing that this decision is not for always. I think that's the most important thing to remember for myself. The idea is, of course, to grow this still, to make our community even bigger, and then gradually be able to make the job part, like as in I'm doing a job already, I'm doing this already full time, but making that other extra job eventually go away. So we'll see. There's still a lot to come, and yeah, that's just a little bit behind the scenes. I think if you are so far in the video that you're still watching, you are the kind of person that probably like to hear these things. So thank you if you're still here. If you're new here and you watch to the end, thank you. I really like it. I appreciate it. Again, I always forget to say this in the beginning, but if you like the video, please like it below. It means a lot to me. I love your support here, and I love growing our community together. So follow me here too if you're not followed yet. I know a lot of people forget to follow. I just realized I forget to follow one of my friends in the Clubhouse who also has a YouTube channel. I was like, whoa. I told her, I was like, I don't know how this happened, but I finally followed you. That was a few weeks ago. So if you want to follow me here, if you think you already followed, check it, because maybe you're not subscribed yet. And that's all. I think we're gonna close it up for today. I really appreciate you watching till the end if you're still here, or just watching in general. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, creator!